programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Good evening. You are watching the Chairman's Report, brought to you by IBC 13 and the Commission on Filipinos Overseas. The CFO is the agency under the Office of the President, mandated to connect the Filipino diaspora with the Philippines. I'm 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐢𝐫𝐦𝐚, Chairman of the CFO and your program host. Tonight's discussion focuses on one of the most impactful sectors of our overseas communities, education. At the forefront of this effort is the Association of Philippine Schools Overseas, or APSO, established in February 1995 and further strengthened through Executive Order 252 in 2000. APSO represents 34 institutions that serve some 25,000 learners worldwide. Their schools do more than educate young Filipinos abroad. They also serve as vital anchors of Filipino values, language, and cultural identity around the world. The CFO, along with the Department of Education, supports APSO by providing policy and program assistance and serves as the Secretariat of the Interagency Committee on Philippine Schools Overseas. Through this role, the CFO helps formulate and implement policies and guidelines for the establishment, operation, management, accreditation, and regulation of Philippine schools overseas. Our featured guest tonight is a leading figure in this space. Dr. Noemi Francisco Formaran is the current president of APSO and vice principal of senior high school at the Philippine School in Doha, where she has served for 18 years. A multi-awarded educator and community leader, Dr. Formaran brings a wealth of experience from her academic, administrative, and advocacy work. A respected leader in the Filipino community, Dr. Formaran received the Philippine Professional Organizations in Qatar Chairman Citation Award in both 2022 and 2023 for outstanding contributions to the education and public service. She is also the immediate past president of the Association of Filipino Educators in Qatar and a nominee for multiple leadership awards, including the Outstanding Jubilarian Honoree of the University of Santo Tomas and the Marilag Award in 2022 for Outstanding Filipino Leader. Her life's work embodies the CFO's mission to empower Filipinos overseas and strengthen their impact on nation building through education, service, and compassion. Dr. Formaran, welcome to the Chairman's Report.
Good evening, Chairman. Thank you for having me here.
So, I've read that your advocacy is on mental health.
Yes, that's true.
Can you talk to us about how you came about that advocacy and what should the public know about mental health and then I guess its nexus with education?
Okay. It is already given that since we are educators, we are pushing for quality education.
Sure.
But more than the education, we are also after the mental wellness and resiliency of our students. Because we notice that achievement of academic standing is much easier to have rather than having the mental wellness and balance. Because we notice that our students on the outside, they look okay. It seems that they are doing great.
Right.
But then after some time, you will realize that they are having problems and realize it sometimes only when it's already late. That's why after the pandemic, we decided to make sure that in our program, in our school calendar, there will always be events that will push for mental resiliency. For example, we don't need to ask our students we don't need our students to visit us. We are the ones asking them to drop by the office. Just a simple hi, hello, how are you doing? What are the things that we can be of help to you? And simple way of saying that, hey, you are not alone, we're here for you.
Right. No, you mentioned the pandemic. So did it become more apparent or did it become a higher priority because of how the learners were adapting to this very difficult period?
Yeah, it is not a closed book that students really were affected by the pandemic. They become more isolated.
I see.
And their social skills become less apparent after the pandemic. That's why we decided to, as long as it is possible for us to have face-to-face events,
Right.
we decided to have these programs right away so that students will be able to increase their social skills.
Right. So what I think I'm seeing and appreciating more is the role of the Philippine Schools Overseas and the social cost of labor migration, at least with the learners in your schools.
Yeah.
The families are able to stay together. Is there a mental health concern there also for maybe the ones who are not so lucky, who are separated, for the parents, or is that something entirely different?
I noticed that there are anxieties involved for students who just came to Qatar.
Okay.
For example, because for the longest time, some of our students are not with their parents. They are being taken care of by their relatives, by their grandparents.
So they're having to adjust.
Yeah, that's why the adjustment is quite difficult because they are adjusting with their social environment, with their
Right.
new school. At the same time, they are adjusting the reconnection with their parents.
Right.
And sometimes the challenge is even more when they are adjusting with their new siblings or with their stepdad, stepmom, like
I
that.
see. And what are some of the signs that a child needs help? I mean, because it's not a physical diagnosis. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the right term.
Sometimes the students they are being absent or they are having some behavioral problems. When they have behavioral problems, that's a sign for us that this child needs help. Sometimes they are just asking for attention.
I see. So how do you tell if it's, a simple thing as, missing the parents and needing attention, as you said, to something that's a little bit more serious? And where do Philippine Schools Overseas come in? Do you have counselors?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
And although that is also one of the challenges of Philippine Schools Overseas because there are a lot of students in Philippine Schools Overseas and the ratio of the counselor to the student is not being complied with because first.
Well, it's a problem for all of the schools in the country, really.
But at the same time, we do our best to. Fortunately for us, we have our teachers who are also equipped with the qualifications.
So you train your faculty also and your admin
if there
staff?
are chances for our teachers to become counselor or to attend trainings on counseling and special education or social emotional learning, then we try to send them.
Yeah. So you're the expert in this area. What do you recommend for the OFW families who cannot bring their children with them, like the ones in Doha? What can they do, being separated from their family? Are there something, other resources they can, ask for or
maybe
take advantage?
they should maximize the technology.
Okay.
Because that's one good thing about technology.
Right.
At least
so FaceTime.
The barriers are lessened.
Right.
So they continue talking and keeping their communications open.
Right. And then, how often should this be? Because you know better than I do. The Filipinos who are working abroad, they're of course very busy. There's a time difference as well. Well, is there a recommended frequency? Is it daily? Is once a week sufficient, or does it depend on the
more the
situation?
merrier.
The more the
But
merrier.
I mean, the more chances for them to talk and to communicate, the better. So, and that's the reason why time management is also a skill that they should practice because time difference matter.
Right. So, what do you recommend to the parents? Because I mean, they have a role to play in mental health as well, right?
Yes.
I mean, I can imagine how some parents would say, "Oh, problema na naman, laging problema," and then they just want to hear from their children or their relatives or maybe the spouse. But is there something they should be more aware of, an approach perhaps, or
they should always.
because they should also think about their mental health, right?
Yeah. So they should take care of themselves so that they can take care of their children. At the same time, they should always think that the feelings of their children are always valid. They should never invalidate the feelings of their children because there are problems that can really be solved through talking.
I see. And do you need to have training for this, or just a regular conversation be
It will always
sufficient?
help that you will always find seek advice from experts.
Right. And so for those who are unable to be together, is there a book, maybe a YouTube page, or
There are a
maybe
lot
other
of YouTube
talks? Okay.
page, and also that's the very reason why APSO is grateful for the partnership with children with 𝐂𝐲𝐻𝐻.
I see.
Yeah, because that's why whenever there are opportunities for us to have collaboration, to have webinar and training on how to deal with mental health, resiliency, and all, then we always grab the opportunity.
Well, maybe this is something that we should partner with APSO.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have enough resources to provide talks, or
We always collaborate with the 𝐂𝐲𝐻𝐻, and
Okay.
if there are experts offering their help,
Right.
then we grab that opportunity.
right? So at CFO, of course, we offer the pre-departure orientation
Yes.
seminar and the peer counseling for young people. Is there something that we should be aware of, because most of our content includes how to settle abroad, how to open a bank account, maybe how to get a driver's license, and maybe some identity card or something like that. But how much preparation or content should there be on mental health? Should there be an exclusive one, or can it be incorporated with
Or maybe it could be incorporated in the discussion, because
Okay.
the source of anxiety per area may be different.
Okay. And then what is the consequence if you don't pay attention to it? Is it grades? Is it
It's complex. And
complex.
sometimes it is even futile, because the children who are suffering from mental health
right?
succumb to suicide. And unfortunately, there are a lot of students in Philippine Schools Overseas whom were not able to help because they already committed suicide.
Oh, that's so tragic. But would it be better, would you say, if there were more APSOs or more opportunities for families to be together?
Yes,
or
definitely.
it can be managed?
No, definitely, no, nothing can be togetherness.
Okay.
I think most of the people of Philippine Schools Overseas who are taking long time to stay in other countries because their families are with them.
And so they're more secure.
Yeah, they are more secure, more stable.
Despite of all of the challenges you mentioned,
The challenges can always be overcome if you are together with your family because you have the support system.
I see. Well, Dr. Formaran, that's very interesting. I just have to take a quick break. Please stay tuned. You're watching the Chairman's Report. I'll be right back.
Gisingin na at salubungin ang umagang puno ng kaalamang pangkalusugan. Hindi na kayo mag-worry dahil ang inyong concerns ay sagot na ng ating mga bisitang doktor at espesyalista. Matuto kasama nina Doc Cel Martinez at Jerome Sang sa Doc Truba tuwing Sabado alas 8 ng umaga dito sa IBC 13. Kulang ang araw mo kung wala ang kids na hindi lang cute at charming, kundi super talented din.
It's a time for the people of Iloilo to show their love for their faith and celebrate a rich culture. Young shows the world how rich and diverse Filipino culture is.
Panoorin sila sa Talents Academy every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. sa IBC 13.
Gusto nyo ba ng mas exciting na content? It's time to manually scan your Digibox or Smart TV. Tune in sa aming dynamic trio lineup. all in one channel band. Stay tuned to Congress TV at channel 13.2 for the latest updates and happenings straight from the legislative halls. Enjoy your favorite shows na hindi lang siksik sa information, kundi punong-puno rin sa entertainment sa IBC 13 at channel 13.1. At para sa pinakabagong balita, talk shows at music, stay tuned to the 12:06 a.m. sa channel 13.3, broadcasting your favorite radio shows on your TV. All this and more in just one channel band. Don't miss out. Manually scan your Digibox or Smart TV now to enjoy Congress TV at 13.2, IBC 13 at 13.1, at the 12:06 a.m. at 13.3. Experience more. Enjoy more. Only on your TV.
Welcome back to the Chairman's Report. I'm 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐢𝐫𝐭. We're talking to Dr. Formaran of APSO. Let's talk about your curriculum, because the interesting thing about Philippine Schools Overseas is that you offer the Philippine curriculum, right? But of course, you also have to comply with the basic requirements of the host country, right? One of the issues, of course, here in the Philippines is the evaluation of the K-12. But how is it working in PSOs?
So definitely, I push for the K-12 to continue, for the senior high school to continue.
Okay.
Because I know that since K-12 was established, our students have more opportunity to be accepted in global universities.
I see.
In fact, there was one time in Qatar that the engineers have less chances of being accepted if their university preparation is less than 4 years.
I see.
So now that we have the K-12, we have grade 11 and 12, our students need not attend bridge program. Our students are readily accepted in universities elsewhere.
But the learners who graduate from PSOs,
Yes.
do they often come back to the Philippines, or do they, as you said, enroll in foreign universities, I guess, to remain with their parents?
Some of the students still go back to the Philippines, but if they have opportunity for them to study abroad or in Qatar or in their host country, they
So
stay,
depending on
remain
the
there.
situation, right?
Depending also on the parents, because
I
sometimes
see.
the parents do not like their children to be separated from them.
I see. But what would be the value of attending a Philippine school then, if they plan on going to college in the Middle East or maybe even Europe or elsewhere and not come back?
Because not everyone is given the opportunity to study abroad,
I see.
no, considering the financial status. But if they opt to be reintegrated to the Philippines, it will not be very
So
hard for
seamless
them.
transition.
Yes, and they will not be solicited for additional fee.
Right. Or they don't have to go back a few years and play catch up.
Yes.
Right. I see. Now, some of the schools, the PSOs I've been to in Saudi Arabia, a few of them accept foreigners, and they were saying that the foreigners like the Philippine schools because they are able to study English. What's
Yes.
the situation in Doha, in
The
your
same
school?
thing.
Okay.
Most of the foreign Arabic parents there would like to have their children study in
The Philippine
PSD,
school.
in Philippine school, because they said that Filipino teachers are very good teachers.
Okay.
Or sometimes, before enrolling their children in international school, they enroll first in Philippine Schools Overseas. So by the time they enroll in international school, their children are already readers.
I see, like British school or
Yes,
something like
yes,
that.
yes.
So why don't they just enroll in the American school or the British school? Is there a difference in tuition or
Tuition fee.
facilities?
Tuition fee is it's very much low cost.
I see. So you offer good value without
With-
the
without
high sticker
the-
price.
yes.
Interesting. So going back to the K to 12, as I said, they are looking at it here in the Philippines. What are some of the things that you think needs to be adjusted, or need to be looked at, because it's under review now.
Yeah.
There are some people who are criticizing it for not delivering some of the promises like employability, but from your vantage point in Doha, what's your input or what's your comment?
I've been part of the committee which reviewed the
K to 12.
the K-12 and the senior high school in particular. And yes, definitely, there is a point in trying to reduce the number of subjects.
Yeah.
Because there
That's
are
one of the
redundancy.
criticism, it's
There are redundancy.
too much. Yeah.
And compared to the curriculum of the other
Schools.
of the other nation, 5 against 15. In fact, when there are students, Filipino students who are studying from international schools, they would like to transfer to Philippine school, they cannot do so right away because there are a lot of subjects that they need to attend to before they are accepted.
Right.
And so there is really a point in reviewing.
Okay.
But definitely, I am not for abolishing the
So
the-
you
the
think
senior
that the
high
K to
school.
12 is still valuable?
Yeah, it is
As
very
opposed
much
to
viable. It's
10.
just that
Yeah.
it has to, the number of subjects has to be reduced.
I see. Another thing that they talked about was that the system where you have tracks
Okay.
need to be reviewed. I think I've heard Congressman Romulo saying that I think they've actually considered or have thought about just removing the tracks.
Some of the general subjects will be removed, and then there will only be 2 tracks now
Okay,
because some of the strands can be combined.
I see. So I think the problem there was that sometimes the learners maybe graduate from a certain track and then they still go, like say, 𝐀𝐏𝐿, and they still go to university. So they spend time now in a bridging program, which ends
Yeah,
up...
because it depends in the university where they will enroll. In fact, the strand sometimes doesn't matter.
Okay.
For as long as you pass the entrance exam, then the
Okay.
university will accept you.
Okay.
Then it will be the problem this time of the child on how to cope with the subjects that he was not able to attend because it is not part of his strand.
Right. So besides decongesting the curriculum, are there any other things that you think needs to be done?
Yeah, that is why what they are proposing now, the electives, where students will be able to choose the subjects that will really be aligned to their career pathway, that is a good suggestion.
And you were saying that some of the college courses are going to be taught now in senior high, or is that a good thing? Or because the problem there is that some of the college professors were now complaining that they were going to lose
Because of the general subjects.
the
that will
general
be
subjects.
removed.
Filipino, I think,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
one of them. Because if you're a pharmacist, but so if you're why some are arguing. I'm not necessarily agreeing with it, but if you're in pharmacy, why do you need to study Filipino college where you should be studying that
So
in high school?
in what they are proposing, which I believe I agree, there will be doorway options. Like the students will be able to choose the subjects which they believe will really be useful to the career pathway that they will choose.
Okay, but will there be some flexibility? Because I mean,
Yeah, there will be flexibility.
because at that
definitely.
age, I'm not sure how conscious they are or how set they are in. Let's say this is the particular.
There will still be
field I want to
flexibility. Like if there are three electives that will really be for the career pathway that you will choose, and then another three you will consider from the other pathways. Because sometimes we should also take into consideration the fact that when students enter college, sometimes their mind is really not that set yet. That is why it is important that they should be prepared.
They're not decided.
There should be orientation as maybe as early as grade 7 or grade 9. Not only when they are already in senior high school.
It's too late.
Yeah, it becomes too late sometimes.
I see. Some of the other concerns among educators here is the low proficiency in some skills, particularly reading. What's the experience in PSOs? Do you have similar problems, or is it totally different? And then, what can we learn from your experience?
Okay. Actually, we also take teams and peers. No, this will be the standard
These are
test for reading and arithmetic, like that. But unfortunately, we have high score, even higher than the general score
In the Philippines,
obtained, but our score is not considered for the Philippines.
Because
It's
you took it
considered
you took
in
it
the host
abroad.
country, yes.
Ah.
That's why.
So is there a way to maybe?
We are trying our best to make sure that our graduates will not be part of the problems being experienced. That's why we have programs like oral verification tests. We make sure that our children really do not pass without the reading skills.
Yeah. So that's a problem here, because there are people who say that there is when you move an entire cohort, right, after a year, whether or not they qualified or they passed is a matter of compassion, but there are consequences to that. I mean, how do you deal with parents who go to you, well, they did not pass, and of course I'm sure they will appeal to the school, and they're afraid that their children will fall behind, and what's a good way to deal with that, because that's an issue here as well.
Yeah, of course, between competence and compassion, we should always look into the entirety, no? We are
Okay.
more because we are not just raising a child, we are raising a human being. So, we should have a balance.
Okay.
And that is why it is important that there will always be parent-teacher conference, because we need to be partners. For us, grades will always just be a number.
Right.
What is important is really the skills that we are trying to inculcate to our children. And we sometimes, because I came from university, we know, we know before that our goal is to make sure that our students will pass the board exam 100%.
Okay.
That's why they are quite strict with regards to passing the exam, making sure that you do not just give your grades just like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what is more important is we are also teaching them how to have compassion.
Right. So, going back to my earlier question, what can we learn from your experience? Because you were saying that your students do well in the TIMSS and the other tests, right? That test proficiency. Is it availability of books? Is it the methodology that's different? Is it something else? I mean, like the PTC offerings.
It's a combination of all these things, no?
Okay.
There should be the proper resources, there should be the proper support system, and methodology. And there should be the commitment of our teachers to make sure that these children will really learn how to read.
Yeah, but the teachers here are also equally committed, right? So what's the difference?
Maybe because we are giving more time for that skill to be
I see.
perfected or to be practiced. Maybe that's the reason why sometimes our teachers must be deloaded with other administrative tasks.
Oh, so that's something very interesting. So I think the EPED should talk to you more. We'll be right back with the chairman's report. Talking to Dr. Formaran of the APSO. We'll be right back.
Travel goals? Hindi papahuli dyan si 𝐏𝐤𝐿.
Look at that. We're gonna be hanging loose. Kaya suwak ito para sa quick nature trip.
Samahan siya sa kanyang adventurous trip habang tinutuklas ang bawat sulok ng Pilipinas at ang natatanging culture, cuisine, and everything in between. Sa Kultura, tuwing Sabado alas 11 ng umaga dito sa IBC 13.
Kasama si Greg Gregorio. Sama-sama nating alamin at tuklasin ang mga tungkuling ginagampanan ng bawat miyembro ng gabinete at ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. para sa pagbabago at kaunlaran ng ating bansa. Sa Cabinet at Work, tuwing Lunes, 1:30 ng hapon, dito sa IBC 13.
Kumusta mga sayanista? Let's go, mga sayanista! Halina't sumama kina Kuya Ro at Agham sa kanilang nakaka-excite na adventures habang natututo ng kamangha-manghang lessons about science and technology.
Oh, mga sayanista, makinig na mabuti.
Sabay-sabay tayong mag-explore, mag-eksperimento at mag-enjoy sa Sayanista tuwing Linggo, 4:00 ng hapon.
Don't be late ha! Dito lang sa IBC 13!
Welcome back to the Chairman's Report. I'm 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐢𝐫𝐭. We're talking to Dr. Formaran of APSO. Tell us about the institutions that you represent, that's collectively part of the APSO. How are you doing? Are there any concerns that maybe we or others in government should know about?
Okay. The Philippine Schools Overseas, it's always beset with different problems, no?
Sure.
Depending on the
country.
area where they are. But one common problem that they are facing is the competition as far as the enrollees now is concerned.
Okay.
Because in one area, there are a lot of schools.
So too many schools in some
too many
areas.
schools in some area.
Yeah.
Plus, the fact that they are also competing with home schools, with schools in the Philippines which are offering online education.
But I heard from DepEd that's not allowed. Or there's some rules,
There are rules,
but it still exists.
but still it is existing.
Okay.
And of course, the Philippine Schools Overseas cannot compete.
Okay.
Some of the parents who are more for economic reasons will go for homeschools.
Okay.
Because, of course, they will offer lower tuition fee because they don't have building to maintain, they don't
Yes.
have licenses to comply with, and that has been a perennial problem for Philippine Schools Overseas. In our case in Qatar, we do not have that problem.
Okay.
But our problem
There are two schools in Qatar.
we are not actually competing as far as the number of enrollees is concerned. In fact, we want to accept them, but we cannot accept because of the limitation with the capacity.
Okay. And then what's the difficulty in increasing capacity?
We cannot just accept new students
Okay.
because we are limited with the capacity. And so our prayer now is for us to be given another lot so that we can increase the open space needed to comply with the capacity set by the ministry in Qatar.
I see that the land where you operate your school on right now, is that owned by the Philippine School Doha? Is that given to you by
It is
Qatar? Or?
we are paying but some sort of a
So it's on
certain
lease.
amount, no?
Okay.
And then, but it is given as a gift by the Qatar government.
Okay.
But
And
then it cannot house the number of students because of the new policy set by the ministry.
Right. How many students do you have now from?
We used to have 4,000 plus.
From kindergarten to
from
senior high?
nursery to
senior high.
But since last year, we are not accepting any more nursery. And then this year, we are only accepting K2 because we are mandated not to accept new students.
I see. And have you asked for a grant or permission to lease more property? What's the?
We are working to buy a new land, to have new land, and that's where we are asking for help. Maybe the CFO and the Department of Foreign Affairs can help us. Although the embassy in Qatar is also doing their part.
Okay, what can we do? What's precisely the assistance you need from CFO? Do we need to write someone? Do we need to talk to someone?
Maybe that
or
is
all of that?
to push everything that can be used to help. Maybe to push for or to reiterate
Okay.
the assistance that we need so that the acquiring of land can be done in a shortest possible time.
Right. So your problem is a happy problem. It's you have a lot of potential
Yes, yes.
enrollees, but you don't have the capacity to take them on. But in what about the other PSOs? Because I understand in Saudi Arabia there are a lot more schools, and the problem is the number of enrollees. Are there other costs that they incur, like new levies and taxes?
In their case, the number of enrollees dwindled
Okay.
when the taxes were levied.
Okay.
Because it will take a lot from their salary, because I think the tax is on a monthly basis. And
Right.
if you have around 3 or 4 children, then that will really take
Adds
a lot
to,
of your income.
And
from
then
your
in
income.
Qatar, what's the situation? Do they have to pay? Are there new taxes? Or?
Fortunately, we do not have to pay taxes there.
I see. So what about others? Because there are schools also elsewhere in Greece and Italy.
So far,
do
they don't have also tax, but that
Okay.
is also their one of the problems. They are competing with homeschools.
I see. Now, what would be the argument for convincing a family to enroll in a PSO rather than a homeschool? Because you said the attraction is mainly the low cost.
Yes,
right?
but of course, you cannot dismiss the fact that attending face-to-face school is always
superior,
better
yeah.
than online school.
Right. Is there an argument to be made that your graduates go to better schools or have better careers after school as opposed to homeschool? Is that something that can be mentioned, or are there other
Yes, I
advantages?
believe, because there are other countries that do not really put a lot of points with regards to online schooling. For example, in Qatar, they do not really accept qualification coming from online school, or they give less points.
So would you say, or would it be correct to say that your chances as a learner or as a graduate to apply to a university would be less because of the quality of a homeschool, or conversely, that your chances in getting admitted to a good college is higher because you went to a PSO? Is that an accurate thing to say?
Of course, because I'm an advocate
You're
of
biased,
face-to-face learning, there is quite bias, but I believe the experiences that you will get in attending a face-to-face school will always be better than when you are attending online.
Yeah, but sometimes the point I'm trying to make is that, of course, any Philippine education program, they have some there's a code, there's a learner's number. There are other requirements that the university would ask, and if the program or the basic ed program is not accredited or not recognized by 𝐷epEd, then it becomes an issue when you get to college, right?
Yes. Maybe more requirements will be asked from you.
But how often does that happen? I mean, from your experience, have you had some parents, come to you crying? They have to pay an extra year because they came from a home
We're
school.
not credited.
Right.
Because I think if the 𝐷epEd has tried to send a memorandum regarding the requirement or regarding the validity of online schools.
Yes.
In UAE, they are not accepting. So maybe there will be waste of years if you will attend.
Yeah, from 𝐷epEd, I've heard in the past, for instance, that all somebody needs to do is to report to 𝐷epEd that there is a homeschool operating in a country where they're not authorized.
We have done a lot of reporting.
Okay.
Especially
but of course,
during
it's
the time
difficult to enforce because
will
they're
still be
abroad.
still be the government. But the UAE government is really bent on not accepting or not crediting online schooling.
So that's a danger.
Yeah. It will be a risk on the part of the parents
right.
if they will enroll
and
in
then
online school.
What happens if they try to enroll in a university They're not accepted, or do they send them back to you for?
They may not be accepted, but we do not know. In our case, they will not be, the number of years that they have spent in online school will not be credited. So if let's say they attended grades 5 and 6 for online school, when they try to enroll in Philippine School Overseas, they will only be credited up to grade 4. Like that.
Now, is there any other problem or concern that we should be talking about here in the Philippines with regard to the welfare of Philippine schools overseas? What about the voucher system? Is that something that's a concern?
Thank you for bringing that one. Before we talk to how we can be included in the voucher program, because there is a misconception that students enrolled in Philippine Schools Overseas
that you're rich,
well-to-do, or they can afford. But from the previous years, we realized that there are a lot of students who cannot just pay their tuition fee right away. They need to do some promissory note every examination. So any help will always matter, even if it's just 10% or 20% of their tuition fee. Plus, if we become part of the voucher program, I believe there will be certification for us to be included. So when we do the certification, it will also be our quality assurance system.
I see. So it's not true that all of the learners come from well-to-do families.
Because there is already a change in the dynamics, economic dynamics, no? Especially after the pandemic, then some of the parents had lost their job, or there is a change in the salary that they are receiving. If they already have their children abroad, because of course they always would like to have their family intact.
Right.
So,
but you know, we were talking earlier. You know, 𝐂𝐻 gives scholarships to some learners in Saudi Arabia. How come it's not offered in?
That is also my question. That's why when I was the president of AFEC, it was part Association of Filipino Educators in Qatar.
Okay.
It was supposed to be one of my projects.
Okay.
And I already started collaborating with the labor attaché then.
Okay.
But then the labor attaché Mosa had his a very short term, so then we changed already the presidency, so it did not continue. But I am actually coordinating with the people from Saudi Arabia, because I saw that they have a group for the 𝐂𝐻 scholarship.
Well, maybe we can talk about it, the CFO and APSO, because we're also talking to 𝐂𝐻 for a possible partnership, and maybe we can join forces there and make a case.
Yeah, that would be a very good help to our Filipino overseas workers.
Okay, all right. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned to the Chairman's Report. I'm 𝐷𝐞𝐚𝐢𝐿, and we'll be right back.
Alam mo bang may dengue outbreak sa ilang bahagi ng bansa ngayon? Ang dengue ay isang flu-like illness dulot ng kagat ng Aedes mosquito na may dalang virus. Pwedeng maapektuhan ito ang halos lahat ng tao, mula sa sanggol, bata at matanda. Ano ba ang mga sintomas ng dengue? Kasama rito ang mataas na lagnat, pananakit ng ulo at likod ng mata, pananakit ng katawan o kasu-kasuan, pamamantal ng balat at pagkahilo at pagsusuka. Kung nakakaranas ka ng mga sintomas, huwag itong ipagsawalang bahala at agad na magpatingin sa doktor. Kasabay nito, makakabuti rin ang magpahinga, uminom ng maraming tubig, kumain ng masusustansyang pagkain at uminom ng paracetamol. Walang lunas sa dengue, pero may magagawa tayo para maiwasan ito. Maging ligtas sa dengue, kaibigan. Payo mula sa IBC 13. Mula sa Malacanang, Senado at Kongreso, ilalahad diretso sa taong bayan ang serbisyong tapat at paglilingkod para sa kapakanan ng bawat Pilipino.
Dumating na po ang bagong Pilipinas.
Sa IBC, tuloy-tuloy ang serbisyo, tuloy-tuloy ang saya. Pinakamay init na balita. Ihahatid ng deretsahan. Walang pasikot-sikot. At laging totoo. Kasama si Mondo Castro. Express Balita. Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Dito sa IBC 13.
Welcome back to the Chairman's Report. Talking to Dr. Formaran of APSO. Can we shift gears for a minute?
Okay.
Because we're talking about, your role in APSO and also your role as an educator in Doha, but you're also a parent, know. How was your experience, bringing your family to Doha? How did you end up in Doha to begin with? You were already teaching here. What brought you there?
Because I had a student whose mom was the coordinator of Philippine School Doha.
I see.
And then, for the longest time, I was thinking that I am not an actual educator.
Okay.
Because I did not graduate in the
Because you were a pharmacist.
BS education degree. And then, she told me that they continue hiring every year, teacher, basic education teacher. And then I told myself that teaching in basic education is more challenging than teaching in college because there will be no lesson plan. So I challenged myself.
Okay.
Because anyway, during that time, we have the chance to go on leave and still have the tenure position.
So you took a sabbatical or something?
So I took a leave for 2 years and then and applied. Fortunately also, before I applied, I took my qualifying course for education and I passed the licensure exam. So I took the chance of submitting my resume and fortunately I accepted. So I told myself that I will just do it for 2 years.
Okay, and how many years has it been?
Now I'm already in my 19th year.
19th
going
year,
to
wow.
19 in Doha.
Did you go there by yourself? Did you bring your family at the same time? Or?
First year, I am only
by
by myself. Then I took my husband and my daughter. My daughter also studied. Because I was about to, when UST was calling me to if I will resume, to report back to work, then I told myself the 4 years that I will be with my child, without my child, will be a lot. So since I have the chance to bring my daughter and my husband in Qatar, then it's okay. Because after all, the monetary speaking, since there is no tax in Qatar, then it's just okay.
I see. And so, talk about that, because you were talking about the value of PSOs in keeping families together. What are, looking back from your personal experience, what are some of the things you appreciate now because you were able to bring your daughter and study in Qatar where you were working? Do you think, what could have happened if that was not possible?
Maybe if I did not bring my husband and my family, maybe we are part of the dysfunctional families. And
or you think you would have, just gave up and come back here?
Yes, because I would not like to miss the milestones of my child.
All right, so keeping your family together was really
more important to me.
And so it's interesting that PSO had a role in keeping your family together.
Yes, very much. And that is one thing that I am grateful for PSD.
I see. And then your daughter, did she end up going to university in Doha, or did she come back to UST? I see.
She went back to study in UST also.
Oh, just like
because
you.
That is her dream.
Okay. And then where is she now? Is she?
She is now with me in Qatar.
You cannot be separated. Now, President Marcos said that his goal is to make working or going abroad a choice rather than a necessity. Now, maybe from your personal experience, how can we realize that goal of the president? That you go abroad because it's merely a choice, but not because you're forced to go abroad.
Then offer more opportunities for Filipinos So that we have to improve our education system so that we will land in a better job, better
Right.
paying job, or give more opportunities for entrepreneurship.
Okay. But weren't those available when you were at UST before you went to Doha? Lots have changed in 20 years. Even the pay of public school teachers sometimes exceed now the pay of the teachers in
my
private
case,
schools.
it is really actually a matter of choice, not a necessity during that time.
Okay.
Because UST even until now
It's
is
a good
giving-
institution,
It's a good
yeah.
institution.
Yeah. So what factored
It's just that
in?
maybe I am really looking for more challenge.
Okay.
As far as being
An
educator
adventure,
is concerned.
perhaps?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
part? Are you curious to
Yes.
about the world?
Because I was feeling then that I am quite inadequate as a teacher. Parang teacher-teacheran lang ako.
Oh, because you came from pharmacy.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. So, what's the long-term plan? Do you hope to stay permanently in Doha? Do you and your husband think about maybe coming back to
We will
retire?
definitely come back to the Philippines because
Okay.
Doha is not naman offering citizenship.
I see.
Yeah.
But some of the PSO officials I've met, sometimes they end up migrating to Canada
Yeah.
or the US. Did
Maybe
you ever
for
consider that? or?
Maybe it will be part of the journey of my daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, when she feels that she would like to
But for you,
migrate.
Philippines is home.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Definitely, because my other members of my family are here.
I see. Now, one of the roles of CFO is to connect with the Filipino diaspora to the Philippines politically, economically, and culturally. We have an immersion program like you lead, where we invite young Filipinos to, learn their roots and our culture. As an educator, and you're not a teacher anymore. You have 20 years under your belt. How can we connect with people like your daughter who grew up 20 years abroad? What would be the best approach, you think, to convince them to reconnect with the Philippines? What should we be doing?
That is why it is important to always integrate Filipino values and identity to the subjects we are teaching,
Okay.
to the programs we are implementing, to make sure that they do not forget their roots.
Okay.
So whenever there is a chance for them to be introduced, like
Okay.
let's say the ULID program,
Okay.
they should always be encouraged to attend.
Now, did you make your daughter go back during the summers, or
Yes.
was-
My daughter is very much attuned because
Okay.
actually she is taking masters in cultural heritage. That
Oh,
is
in UST?
yeah.
Oh.
That is her passion.
I
To
see.
make sure that the Filipino heritage is alive.
I see. Well, how do we do that? For someone who maybe grew up abroad already and they don't identify as Filipino, but maybe they identify as, maybe the nationality of their host country.
In Philippine Schools Overseas, I think it is imperative that in all our programs, the Filipino values, identity, and culture are always there. Even just encouraging them to sing with their hearts and soul, the national anthem, that is part of them bringing them back to where they should be.
I think we need to encourage them to enroll in a Philippine school overseas, but first you need more land.
Yes.
But Dr. Formaran, thank you very much for your time. I really enjoyed talking to you. But before we end the program, would you like to leave a message to our audience?
Yeah, definitely. So good evening. I am happy that I am here now speaking about and introducing APSO. So Philippine Schools Overseas exists. So for our fellow colleagues and schools belonging to Philippine Schools Overseas, which are not actively an active member of APSO yet, please join us so that we will be together pushing for quality education for our Filipino children.
Dr. Formaran, thank you very much for your time again. Thank you very much to IBC 13 and to Mr. Jimmy 𝐂𝐴𝐴 for agreeing to partner with us on this program. I'm 𝐑𝐞𝐚𝐢𝐫𝐿. This has been the Chairman's Report. I'll see you next week.